Hello. It says that I'm live, but all I see is a dark screen. All I know is this image that it shows me. Now I gotta get on my phone and see what you can see. And see what you can see. Can you see me? No. Can you hear me? Hand waving. Yes. Okay. That is so weird. So for some reason, um, my YouTube screen is like black. But I mean, I wonder if I do this. No, it doesn't. Even if I turn off the I don't know why that would work. Um, yeah, that's okay. Well, it's fine because I use an OBS anyway. So I guess I don't really need this. I'll just pop this out and use this screen so I can see what you see. So my number one fan said that it was time for the little Christmas tree to go. she, she was like, either you need to get rid of it or you need to fix it up. And I said, well, what if I do neither, mother? I didn't say that, but I could have. I was like, oh, it's fine. That's my mantra. It's fine. Okay. So, excuse me. I was just thinking, oh, Empress at the bottom of the deck. I'm using a deck that I feel like I haven't used. Empress and the Ace of Wands. I'm using a deck. Hey, Holly, how you doing today? I'm using a deck I haven't used in a minute. I'm using the Kawaii Tarot, the Empress and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a card that has been coming out so much lately. Now it's the Empress and the Ace of Swords. Is anyone going to dethrone the Empress? Now it's the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Cups. It happened. It happened because she wanted it to happen. Nine of Cups. What am I talking about? Yeah, anyway, so I'm using the Kawaii Tarot. I feel like I haven't used the Kawaii Tarot in over a year, if not years. And I was like, I feel like it's been a minute since I've like gone through the Zodiac. And then I was like, I'm not doing it today. So why do I bring it up? I don't know. Let's just get. Let's see. I still got this piece of paper from yesterday. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do one of these. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 counterclockwise, and then clockwise 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, what do these mean? I don't know. It's almost like a Celtic cross. So I want to be something from the past. I love the seen present and the unseen present. Was April 2nd the date for what? I already forget. If there was something said, I forgot it. I'm just so tired lately. I mean, I would say that like it's because of the eclipse, but also it's because I've been staying up until 2, 3, 4, playing video games or watching Netflix. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to put that one on the eclipse. I don't know. For a lunar eclipse, I'm feeling surprisingly like chill. You know what I mean? Usually on the past few lunar eclipses, my sleep has been like super weird, but I'm just like tired because I'm playing video games and watching things. And I don't know, not necessarily like, I feel like I'm not necessarily people avoidant. I'm just like tired. Anyway. So one is something from the past. 2 is I love the seen present and the unseen present. I'm gonna do it. 2 is an unseen force. 3 is the desired present or the desired future. 4 is going to be an applied force. Almost meaning like what we're doing to get to that future that we want to see. 5 is going to be the scene / conscious impact. I'm running out of space. 6 is the unseen impact. And then I got 7 and 8 would be motivators. 7 is, it's not hidden because I feel like we know. The more I'm building this, the more I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to read this, but I guess we'll see. Why not? I feel like I haven't built a spread in a minute. It's fine. These are all about motivations. So I'll put hidden in quotes. Because I feel like it isn't, but we may not necessarily want to face it. And then 8. Instead of 8 being a sane motivation, I want 8 to be like almost like I want to use the word trajectory. So it's kind of like a combination between a projection and a trajectory, a projected trajectory. So it's almost like what it was supposed to inspire. I'll just put trajectory. There you go. And I guess this is what I'm gonna do, because I don't know. The Hierophant and Death at the Cut. 5:15. 5:15 is coming up fairly soon. I think that's my grandma's birthday. Pretty sure it is. May 15th? That sounds about right. Okay. Oh, a card flipped over. It's the 5 of Pentacles with the King of Wands and the King of Swords. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this 2 more shuffles. I'm going to give it a shuffle, whatever this is called, kind of shuffle, and then another shuffle. And whatever this is called, kind of shuffle, and then a cut. So for everything hidden or unseen, honestly, the second one and the 6th one will be the only ones that I'll pull from the bottom of the deck. I'm going to pull the 7th one, the hidden motivation, because I feel like even though it's hidden, it isn't. So card 1 is the Devil. Oof. And then 2, the unseen force, is the 4 of Cups. The desired future is the Hanged Man. The applied force is the Ace of Wands. Already, this is shaping up to be something. Okay, Bing, no thank you. Just gotta pop up for ChatGPT. The scene conscious impact is the Ace of Swords. The unseen impact is the Page of Pentacles. The hidden motivation is the Nine of Cups. And the trajectory is the Page of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. So I want to get better at like being able to read a bunch of cards like quick, being able to summarize. And if I take this as an opportunity to do that, so in the past is the Devil, the unseen force is the Four of Cups, the the Hanged Man is the desired future, which is interesting. The Ace of Wands is the applied force. Ace of Swords is the seen impact. The unseen impact is the Page of Pentacles. The hidden motivation is the Nine of Cups. And the trajectory is the Page of Wands. So maybe it's because the like devil energy is in the past. For the Ace of Wands to be the applied force to this situation is kind of almost, I guess, like fighting fire with fire. Which I guess isn't like, if you backburn, that's kind of like fighting fire with fire. You kind of sort of limit the resources that a fire has access to so that it will stop spreading past a certain point. Excuse me. Now, this Four of Cups as the unseen force. I don't know. It feels like the Four of Cups will be something that is hard to not see when it comes to devil energy. Four of Cups is almost like a card of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Because in general, it's like there's an element of dissatisfaction and or an element of not seeing what's in front of one's very face. And for the Hanged Man to be the desired future is, I feel like the only way, and maybe it's because the Ace of Swords is here. Like this is this hangman in the desired future position is one of enlightenment. Right. And so it's almost like there's this focus on specific elements of one's bondage or specific parts of one's attachment to the past. And there's a great desire to, at the very least, understand them better. And so it's like the more we desire to know, or the more we desire to understand, the more we get to know. The more we get to know, the more we learn about the world around us. I don't understand why this Page of Pentacles would be unseen. Unless it's like we wouldn't even necessarily understand. It's almost like our understanding is growing in ways that we don't realize and don't recognize. Or this could be like changed behaviors that we're unaware of. Now, the hidden motivation is the Nine of Cups. It's to get a wish granted, which is like, especially for the Four of Cups to be the unseen force, for the Nine of Cups to be the hidden motivation is not surprising. But the trajectory is the Page of Wands. So it's almost like, so the Page of Wands and the trajectory gives the Page of Pentacles context, because it's like we see things in such a physical standpoint, or we see things in such an experiential way, but we may not necessarily. I don't know. I don't want to say that we don't necessarily see the grander truths behind it, but seeing the greater, grander truths behind things is the trajectory. That's the projected trajectory. Like, that's the point. It's just that the Hanged Man has such an element of stillness, which I guess isn't terrible. Um, but again, it's like there's no movement. It doesn't have to be. It's just a little strange to me that for the past energy to be bound in true devil fashion, for the desired future to like still not be moving, but just to understand why one is bound, why or how. So I guess this is like it's to understand the rules of the game to learn how to win the game, more so than I would interpret it as like really trying to like not play the game anymore. It's to get better at the game. Excuse me. This is like role reversal energy. Under the Queen of Cups is the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to look under the High Priestess too. I put all these up right. Under the High Priestess is death. So yeah, the reason why I did that is like, so again, like under the Queen of Cups, which is minor High Priestess, is the Ten of Pentacles. It's to just get like really, really good at the game, to benefit, basically. And under the High Priestess is the Death card, which is like to either stop playing the game or to change the rules of the game. That's why it's so like weird. Because it's like it uses this knowledge to just like do a role reversal. It's like if someone is um I don't know, it's just like if someone is in a predicament where they are suffering some kind of misfortune, it's like understanding the laws and the rules so that that person can be on top and have someone else suffer a misfortune for their benefit, rather than coming to a conclusion that like no one should suffer this misfortune, so something should be changed. But the point is like money. or the point is something in the physical experience, which is why the Ten of Pentacles is under the Queen of Cups, which is why the Page of Pentacles is this unseen impact. Whereas the Page of Wands is like the point. Cool. That was quick. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. So I guess, yeah, like what's really the point to a lot of the stuff that we do? Is it really to like change the world, to benefit the collective, or is it to just like be on top? You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just nice to know what our motivations are, what it is that we truly desire. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's necessarily bad for someone to want to build a comfortable life for themselves and their family and their loved ones. Especially someone who has experienced a kind of lack. But I don't know, sometimes it's just like, own it. Ace of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune was behind the Ten of Pentacles. And that's it. Let's get a final card. Let's keep these short. Let's try to get into the shorter scene. This is really about, I didn't have a plan. So 2 cards flipped over, the Five of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Cups. Only suit missing is the Pentacle. We didn't have somebody from the Suit of Swords, but the Ace of Swords was there. Because it was Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Ace of Swords and the Five of Wands. Again, it's this energy of like the rules of engagement. If the Five of Wands is conflict, then this Ace of Swords is understanding of conflict. But it feels like it's more to like win it rather than it is to like end it or to solve it. I guess this could also bring to mind, do they say war is the mother of invention? How there's been so many advances made for the sake of conquering, and how much of our understanding comes from that. So if much of our understanding, if much of our progress is due to things like war, then is there any surprise that, I don't know, I feel like there's a connotation around times of peace of like dulling and stagnation. But I honestly feel like there are there are enough problems in the world that we could probably go a good while with like focusing on solving problems rather than continuing to necessitate violence or it's like instead of taking the approach of let's like steal resources or like take resources, like instead of that approach, if there were an approach of like let's work together to do whatever, or not even work together, just like is there some kind of way that like alternative resources, you know what I mean, We don't even have to be as radical as like trying to work together with people, with different people, different peoples. Almost as if like peace can't beget any progress. Cool. So I should just end it. I should just end this. It's been 25 minutes. But I'm like, this is so short. I could open up another booster pack. I don't know how many booster packs I have left though. So I think I will just end this there. So I feel like overall, maybe it's just a question of like knowing our past. If we know our past and understand our motivations, it's like knowing our past, understanding our motivations, but also considering the fact that we are destined for more. How can we try to motivate ourselves beyond our understanding? Or how can we motivate ourselves beyond our knowing? Because it feels like when we encounter our knowing, that's when we settle in ways that maybe we don't have to. Meaning, like, for example, let's say, it's a dog eat dog world, whatever. So we want to be the big dog so we can eat the smaller dogs. And so when we are on a path to bettering our own lives, at a certain point, we may encounter that, like, okay, well, now it's time to see, like, we become a dog of some size, and it's time to see what smaller dogs we can sustain ourselves on, because it's almost like that's the limit of our knowing. So because like that's how it is, or that's how it's been, it may be hard to conceive of the idea that we could be a dog that doesn't have to eat other dogs to grow and thrive. And so it's almost like, instead of it eventually at some point after some success turning into, well, how do we adopt this business model to something that is currently successful as we consider scaling up? It's like, well, maybe the scale up could be something like truly new and innovative and like different, which almost goes back to I put it on the community page and I closed the window because I had to update my computer yesterday. It was that changing line of fairness, stick to fairness, and there will be auspiciousness by the end of the day. Fairness and self-defense. Stick to fairness and self-defense, and you will find auspiciousness before the end of the day. It's that one. Now, this Five of Wands could be self-defense, but more often than not, I feel like it isn't. And I feel like maybe our concept of self-defense needs to be evaluated. Because I feel like there's a difference between like defending our interests and self-defense. And maybe it's a question of what we defend ourselves against too. Right? Because especially after a certain amount of success, it can be easy for a competitive mindset to come in and then go, oh, well, like the success of something or someone else threatens my success, because at the end of the day, there's a limited number of dollars in the circulating economy and the pool of available money. I don't know. It just feels like it's about bigger, better, greater, something truly different. You know what I mean? And like, yes, history has been what history has been. Life is what life has been. And the rules of engagement, the keys to success, have been what they have been for the time that they have been them. But if things are to truly change, and again, it's just interesting to me that it's like the perspective, and what other card would it be? The world? It could have been the world, I guess. I feel like the world involves the same energy of like a different perspective, especially as you close one and open another, but it has a momentum to it. It's not just like still or stagnant. It's like the only thing that changes in the hanged man is someone's perspective and maybe their mind, but like nothing else. The world doesn't change, just the way that we view it. And the way that we view the world is a significant piece of our experience in it, true. But, and again, I guess it goes back to motivations. And maybe it goes back to what it means to change the world. When we seek to change the world, do we seek to change our experience in it? Or do we truly seek change for like the world? You know what I mean? Like there's a difference between like the world and our world. And again, it's not right or wrong. They're just questions, things to be aware of so we can be clear on our motivations. And again, I don't think one is necessarily better or worse than another. I think, in fact, it takes multiple because there are so many fronts in the world, and because progress isn't necessarily always linear, and because the size of, or the size or the timing of progress, like some steps may be bigger than other steps, some steps may be a leap, some steps may take years, some steps may take decades. And it's good to have that like grounding too, because it is also true, or it would stand to be true, that if all of our worlds change, then we'll find ourselves in a changed world where the world has changed because our worlds have changed. And maybe the Five of Wands could also be just like navigating all of this internally, mentally, and with others. You know what I mean? Like the Five of Wands could be considering multiple things. I don't know if there's necessarily another card that would symbol. I guess like Five of Swords, if a sword is a thought, but the Five of Swords is so much more like aggressive usually than the Five of Wands. It's like with the Five of Wands, they're playing with sticks. With the Five of Swords, they're actually fighting. Um, and so maybe this could also be like finding, it's almost like it's giving me the energy of a unifying theory. A unifying theory, if it is a theory that unifies multiple theories, it's one thing that accounts for many things, or it takes many things into consideration. And it may not necessarily be easy, but we have that capacity. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is many worlds change. And when many worlds change, the whole world changes. Who is this? The King of Wands. There you go. King of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. There you go. Oh, look, there's a little sun on the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Wands. It's like growing the King of Wands. And the Page of Wands was the trajectory. Again, like it doesn't, for as confusing as it almost kind of sort of is, it doesn't feel unaligned to the end goal. But it does feel like, see, I feel like even if it gets distracted or sidetracked, I wonder if it's almost too like what we as people, I don't want to say what we're capable of. But again, it's just that energy of like, if many, like if all of our world, if all of our worlds change, then the world will change. If there are enough individuals that experience whatever, then it's almost like by definition it would qualify as a collective experience. You know what I mean? Because there are enough individuals having that experience. It's not isolated. It's not a one-time thing. And maybe that can lead to an almost heaven on earth, especially if we move in those ways of fairness and self-defense. Meaning like we don't set it up to where our happiness comes at the price of someone else's misery. And also meaning that we don't have to compromise our happiness for the sake of someone else's contentness. It's like both, hand in hand. Cool. So there we go. I hope you'll have an amazing whatever one of you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and what you find, this is what it was today. I don't know. It's only been 37 minutes. Wow. I'm going to get better at this. Watch me.